Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2, a best-of-5 in the ITAX Super Series between two of the most explosive players in StarCraft 2. One player, well, both of them, well known for taking their micro a little bit too far, which either ends up winning them tournaments or disappointing a significant amount of fans. Let's first introduce the heartbreaker in the top right. Like and subscribe so I can remember what I was doing in the middle of this. Of course, Shopify Rebellion's Korean Terran champion. It is ByuN. Opting for the, at this point, just, throw a dart at the map thumbnail, which is kind of small, and then that's where we're putting our barracks. That's pretty standard now. Like the good old days of Maru proxying every game in, a 7-game series. Ah, yes. Well, a player whose worst enemy is sometimes himself. Suffers from pretty heavy nerves in those major tournaments, but still one of the most stable and accomplished Protoss players in the world. And yes, being a stable human being, a very stable genius, some might say, is definitely a unique quality for a Protoss. Of course, it's trap. Both of them are very micro-heavy players, though I would put Trap as up. Well, all right, the probe boxing out, but ByuN slaps down the bunker. A Zealot is already out, so that bunker lasts longer than it was. Yet, ByuN a little optimistic there. Meanwhile, I guess this is how we're starting things off. Proxy racks, heading back to the main, factory, proxy pylon, Reaper looking for the probe. The fact that there's a Zealot and the expansion was delayed at all means that the Reaper is prioritizing finding that probe. And it will find it. Wait, what? ByuN! No! Come on. You gotta... Doors and corners. You gotta check behind the minerals, bro. Everybody knows that. Didn't your mother tell you that when she tucked you in at night? Brush your teeth, wash your face, check behind your mineral line for proxy stargates. Come on. I thought this was it's a Korean lullaby. Probably start with the stargates, actually. You do not want them finishing. You brush your teeth later. What do you mean floss? Okay, let's not... It's kind of like robo-openers. It's something everybody says they do, but they never actually commit to. Oracle on the way. There's units kind of all over the place. The Reaper's gonna slip in. A couple probes. Well, another Adept. All I can really do is try to keep track of the units on the screen because it's already gone sideways. And I'm not talking about the shades and the builds, just the general... Well, okay. So the Twilight is scouted. Will be unrealized. He has... Everything's up in the air right now. We got a factory, switch it over. The barracks going to the tech lab. The command center to the natural. The Oracle count. The fact this Stargate wasn't spotted. I don't know if that's better or worse, actually. Because ByuN already has kind of the built-in counter. It seems like he suspects something. Even if he did not see the Stargate, he smelled it. And it smelled suspicious. Well, here come the Adepts. The Twilight was a bit late, and I think that's the giveaway tell here. Well, here come two Oracles. Cyclone locks on. Target fires an Oracle, knocks down one. 3 Adepts are going to make quick work of whatever SCVs they can get their grubby little resonating glaives. Well, not so resonating glaives on. Cyclone takes out more, so. ByuN defends, but at what cost? 5 SCVs. With no counter damage potential. He's building stim and combat shield, so ByuN is still ByuN. Marines and Marauders. The Cyclone is only acknowledging that he may need a little more than Marines and Marauders temporarily. Trap boldly goes where every Protoss has gone before, which is for a seemingly very greedy third. But you gotta think about it. Taking a third base is, the more quickly you can take it, the more defensible it is. 1, the literal HP of the base. 2, shield battery overcharge. And then 3 is, of course, that chrono as well. So if you can get away with the third base, it's not going to actively die before it finishes, it's usually worth it. And that's why, unlike in the previous expansions, which are, at this point, oh my god, it's been a while, the minority of StarCraft 2's history, it is the Protoss who usually out-expands the Terran, and the Terran who focuses on building up a critical mass of army to do mid-game damage. Now, obviously, Terran players, especially ByuN, would prefer to get something done to slow down the Protoss. But Trap has precluded that cheeky Stargate, whittling down. It was a good choice for tech that doesn't really require much. Is he going to go? He's not going to go. He sees it. Slaps down the Revelation. Spots what he already suspected and now knows. It is a bio push with medevacs. Marines, Marauders, medevacs. Maybe some mines to follow it up as there's a reactor coming together on the factory. But the power spike is hit in just a few seconds with +1. Already stim and combat shield. ByuN showing some blink micro of his own with those medevacs. Trap now, he's finishing up gateway 4-5. He's got 1, 2, 3 more in the main. So he's going up to that 3 base, well, more like 2 base production. But charge is not there yet. +1 is only halfway done. These are just stalkers and sentries, and shield batteries are good. There's only 1 shield battery. He's adding a cannon. Force fields are going to have to really help out here. But this is on Trap to defend. Because the efficiency of this bio army doesn't want to get caught between a rock and a force field place. Yeah, we don't always need to take the third at the third. Trap is already there with Adepts. Is he going to get away with this? Every second that passes brings us closer to Trap having a critical mass of units to deal with this. He's beyond boosting more reinforcements out of the base. Of course. More Adepts with Shade by. Trap is playing about as perfectly as you could here. Yes, the Cyclone's going to catch this. ByuN is religiously committed to expanding on the low ground, no matter how much it gets delayed. I've always been a little confused about that. Like, at some point, just build it on the high ground. That maybe I'm a coward. Okay, I'm not a real Terran until I build on the low ground, vulnerable to all the units that I know are there. Meanwhile, drop at the back. Drop threatening the main. Cyclone also involved. Widowmines connect. Blink Stalker's not able to snap up one of the medevacs, but badly bruised will be forced to retreat. But all of this has been covered to get that third command center up. But I think it got delayed again, as it's only a third of the way done. And it can't fly until it's done. And I may die on this hill. On the hill that Terrans don't build their command center on. That's the hill I'll die on. But it'll be after you, my Terran friends, who lose your command center because you're so committed to the low ground. I guess Trap's not going to push. Why? Because he knows ByuN is going to put the pedal to the metal. He's going to step on the gas and use a minimum of it. He does not like going for late game. He does not like going for, like, range liberator, siege tanks. He wants to have as many M-flavored units. We got Marines, Marauders, Mines, Medevacs, Cyclone as well. Somehow has lived throughout all this. All Trap needs to do is get enough Colossi and general splash damage. Even if ByuN's on 3 base, there's just not much anti-Colossi or even disruptors here. It's just gateway units and an immortal for now, though. The Widowmines will burrow. They are revealed, but any hits are going to splash all over the army. ByuN slips by the force fields. They weren't perfect. They do segment some back. Juggles. ByuN really pressing in here. He's trying to push past the force fields. Still sentries. Trap doing a great job of conserving the sentry energy. He still has full energy on 1. He actually used, I think, all the energy on just one sentry. And meanwhile, charge lamps in the main. With 2 Colossi on the way. ByuN is slipping into that situation so many Terrans have experienced before, which is continuing to try to push forward while getting dismantled at home and allowing the Protoss enough space to get the splash damage. Trap is doing the most minimal of counterattacks. He's got DTs. Blink is on the way. There are Colossi, but the Stalkers are a little far forward here. The Stalkers cannot fight anything but their own inner demons on their own, and they just blink away from them, which doesn't really solve the problem. Scan to kill 1 DT, but this is all cutting into ByuN's production, his economy. And what is the follow-up for ByuN here? He's got, yes, enhanced shockwaves on the way. He's got +2, +1. But Trap almost has his 4th Nexus done. He's got 62 probes. He hasn't really focused on the probes as he knows ByuN has been losing workers at home. He's just focused on building the right unit composition. And the next time ByuN comes back across the map, 23 SCVs lost, the RoboBay units will be fully operational. He's got 3 extended thermal lance Colossi. He's got double bubble trouble in the form of disruptors, and I'll try to avoid ever saying that again. He's got blink DTs complete. EMP knocks out some of the shields there. Oh. Oh my, he picks up 4 medevacs of units and boosts them over a zealot that Trap had. Like, are you still gonna commit to this? Trap has perfect vision. He keeps trying to fit a square peg in a non-existent hole, which every part of that is uncomfortable, especially for the peg. Yeah, a lot of Widow Mines, but 1 or 2 disruptors can really deal with it. I can't believe this drop actually made it into the main. I don't think Trap expected him to commit. Like, this is sometimes how ByuN gets things done. It's like, you wouldn't still do it. Yes, he would. It's ByuN. Disruptor fires a shot. Danger close. Gets a couple Marauders. Where's the blink? Can't chase the medevacs. They'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Alright, ByuN manages to... What did he get? What did he kill? He got the Dark Shrine, which is quite a valuable pickoff. ByuN still making moves here. Despite the kind of awkward unit composition, the Widow Mines are still intact. The Oracle flew right over him. Trap, his unit composition is a bit fragile. There are a lot of pieces that could fall apart if not brought together. Meanwhile, Disruptors, EMP, gets 1, gets 2, gets 3, but another shot, Sundermass! Oh, all it takes is 1. A big hit. Reinforcements just get melted as well. The Quadra drop back into the main where another Dark Shrine is building. Oh, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out! But Trap intercepts! Down go 2 medevacs! The Viking eats the rest! Shield battery overcharges back! ByuN is getting a little ambitious, but the blink, somehow he gets out, but ByuN is just down 30 supply. He drops out of the game as he refuses to really acknowledge anything past Marine Marauder Mine medevac. And for a few beautiful moments, it looked like it would work. And then for the rest of the moments, it looked very painful. And that is game 1. Trap with a... At some point, you could see it. He's like, you know what? All right, just chill. Just chill. Okay, just let him attack. He'll wear himself out. And for better or worse, that has been ByuN's go-to for the better part of a decade. Game 2. We'll see if ByuN can find another angle. It is, like... I've spent so much time watching these players. Like, I've probably watched more time of ByuN playing StarCraft than any TV show or movie or what have you. Easily, really. It's kind of weird to think about. I guess this is how people who watch, as we call them, normie sports feel. It's like, I feel like I know this player, or I've watched so much. I mean, I have a little bit of a more direct role in talking here at it, around it, on it, above it, bop it. But at the same time, like, you can see the fingerprints that players have on the game. Like, it's there's been an attempt in the past to do like barcode tournaments, essentially, like anonymous tournaments. I believe Total Biscuit tried it. Rest in peace. Of course, in like that, trying a lot of things. He was the one to inspire that. The thing is, it's very easy, even just based on control groups. Like each player.
John Schatzman is chilling for 1 month.
Thank you, John. Also, what? Jimmy! I guess appropriate, but it's so easy to tell players apart. Like, there's these little quirks. I couldn't name them right now. Like, if you asked me what little quirk would tell you it's ByuN, it probably wouldn't be anything in particular, but players have different control group schemes. They have different habits, like with their basic early scouting units. Especially after a few games, it becomes quite easy, especially with the top players, to determine exactly who you're watching. On top of the fact, you're split into 3 distinct races. I mean, it's like, well, this player switched to Protoss mid-series. Who could it be? It's like, well, that's even more of a tell, Scarlet. Well, ByuN, not opting for a Reaper. Oh, yeah. What I'm trying to say is you can really tell the difference between these players. Like, Trap really loves his multi-pronged oracles. Like, he, more than any other player, is very willing to just have oracles roaming around the map. A lot of players will go oracle, but Trap is very diligent about it. Doesn't make him unique, but he's the best at it. Like, Zest will go oracle, he'll get a revelation, and then fly into a Widow Mine trying to take 6 Marines along with him, and failing, but then still winning. Like, Trap would never do that. It's just not even in the cards for him. Some players, like Hero Marine, is oftentimes really laser focused on the tank timings. ByuN, on the other hand, will take every opportunity to load up into the medevacs and go to the main. It is, while not unique, it is just, like, a lot of people like to eat potatoes. Okay? Or at least they don't mind eating potatoes. Eating potatoes is like microing medevacs. Some people like potatoes in a specific way. ByuN likes his potatoes loaded up into aluminum foil and thrown into the fire. That's how he likes them. Alright, that's okay. You get burned a lot, but that's why we love watching. It looks like, 2 oracles he waited for. Trap slips in, gonna burn through the Marines, easily melt them, but ByuN went for a 3-rack, so there are plenty of Marines behind it. So it looks like it's gonna be Marines and Marauders, a full stop to start this game. Trap has used these oracles to try to carve out a 3rd. He doesn't have a pylon down there. He is afraid of this. Got 2 shield batteries at the natural. And there is nothing that can easily deal with the concerted... Oh, it's a trap! Trap! Accurate and also painful to say. Wow, the Marines just gunned down an oracle. The stasis ward. Quite a call here. You know what? There you go. What a strat. ByuN, undeterred, just walks across with the rest of his units anyways. He does wait for the unfreeze here, but this has bought enough time for shield batteries to finish up at the 3rd. So, yeah, this is Trap's signature here with the oracles. Wait, Jimmy, do we have summon 1 adept or 2 oracles? Looks like he used his battle cry again this game. Classic move. But he's 30% higher chance of hurting himself here. So we got to keep track of that as well. It's very dangerous for Trap to go up 2-0. That is potentially disastrous. Especially against Raynor. But thankfully, neither of these players is Raynor. Well, ByuN has done... This is a very Wings of Liberty-esque style. Not just the Marines and Marauders, but the kind of sharking around the map. ByuN knows if he commits, he's very likely to run into heavy defenses. But by being out on the map, he's forced Trap to build these defenses. He's built 4 shield batteries and a cannon. This delayed the gateways significantly. He keeps the oracles at home. So even though he hasn't really done anything, he's done a lot just by existing here on the map. And we'll see if that's enough. There's a decent amount of energy here. Blink is not yet done. The force fields, well, shield battery overcharge. Well, a lot of keep away action. That is a ton of sentry energy, but also 26 Marines. Okay, ByuN, I'm just saying, how long, like, how many SCVs do you lose? Like, what, 3? At what point? All right, moving on. Trying to bait the army into fighting the 3rd. There's not that... Ooh, the dog. Even the dog is undeterred. What's up, dog? A force field. I thought I kind of used the punchline at the end there, at the beginning. Ugh. +1 finishes, but this time, ByuN is not just going for the M&M builds. Nope. He's not going to rely on one shot or one particular opportunity. It is a much quicker Ghost Academy, enhanced shockwaves, and this is up against a Protoss player. Yes, he has a Robo Bay and a second Robo, but he doesn't have Colossi yet, I say, as he chrono boosts the first one. Thing is, against a mostly Gateway army, these Ghosts are incredibly effective. One EMP can do pretty much the most damage effectively in the game, wiping out up to 100 shields across the board in a surprisingly huge radius. Especially against things like Stalkers, which have half shields and half HP. 2 Colossi are on the way. You can fight Colossi, especially before Thermal Lance, when they barely outrange the Bio Army. Meanwhile, though, Adepts in the main. I think he just collected whatever was left on the map. Reinforcements will deal with it. The 4th base has no chance of finishing. ByuN. Oh, he scans. EMP, but the sentries have already landed the force fields. There's not much energy left. Some charge lots heading out. The Warp Prism's still intact. A 4th base in the main. I see you, ByuN. Unfortunately, now the Warp... And ByuN picks up, and he goes to the main. Loses a medevac for his troubles, but don't worry, he has 5 more. The Forge is quite a juicy target here. He gets +2, he picks up, and he gets out. Gonna lose 1 more. He can afford to lose that one, though. He loses 2 medevacs, 1 full of units, but he snipes +2. So you know what? This time, I think that's a pretty decisive win for ByuN. He now has 2/2 upgrades. He maintained the majority of his army supply. He knows it's going to be Colossi in a limited economy. And the Bio army is now competitive, even against Colossi. If they're able to get 2/2 against just +1, a good concave will negate most of the effectiveness of the Colossi. Now, 4 or 5 just becomes like a one-shot melt on the, whatever I just said, on the Marines. And +2/+2 is still a long way off. He's scouting for the alternative 4th, and he will find it. I wouldn't mind scuttling in. Oh, he's just not there. Recall is off cooldown, but recall isn't the option here. Disruptor gets EMP'd. It gets reshielded. ByuN picks up, and he goes to the main. At this point, we could just have a soundboard, I think. Wait, where are you going? Or not? You just... Oh, that... It is a little predictable at this point. I mean, you can't just only use your signature move, okay? It's like a fighting game. If you keep just spamming the same move, eventually he's gonna counter it. You gotta like go to the fourth or something to mix it up. EMP washes across the Colossi and the sentries. There is still a Guardian shield at the front zoning this out. The Bio army is moving back. I'm not sure if that's Selecto army or he's looking for the flank. There is an opportunity. Trap senses danger. The boys are pulled. Why? The boys are getting involved because that's just how ByuN do. Well, the Stalkers, the boys melting here. It's almost just Colossi. ByuN making this as dramatic as possible. A couple Widow Mines underneath. He just shot another EMP. Down go the Colossi. I don't know if DTs are the choice. Blink, that Disruptor. Blink. Scan. Blink. What? I usually... Okay. Okay, alright, we're fighting. ByuN has 2-2 finishing soon. Does he not have any scans or something? No, he does have a scan. He's fighting. What? No, he left early. Straight up. Yeah, that's early. I am confident in calling that one early. Like, usually it's a little questionable. Sometimes it's a little early. No, that is a very winnable position for ByuN. He tapped out the GG mid-fight. So, I was looking for... Like, he pulled the boys, yes. But he has a fourth, finishing a planetary. He has 2-2 finishing. He still, even on losing 20 workers, is comparable with Trap. He's up, like, if he clicks on him, there's only +1 attack. Yeah, this fight is not great. I don't know why he pulled the boys. But it's still, like, this was a winning fight from ByuN without the boys, I think. It wasn't fun. It was not a good fight, but it was enough. Like, yes, the DTs are very annoying, but... So, ByuN gets a Disruptor. The scan. So he EMPs here. What is his army? He's gonna lose a lot of his ghosts. No, this is too early. It's way too early. It's a big mistake. Like, I get it. You're about to lose potentially. You could pick him up though, as well. Like, there aren't that many DTs. Yeah. Oof. This is the whole army of Trap, by the way. It's 8 DTs, a Colossus, and 3 Stalkers. No, that's a big mistake. No doubt in my mind, this was too early. It's rough, but yeah. The worker count, ByuN is only down 5. The upgrades, he's about to be up by 3. And the army, even if he loses all of this, Trap can't push. Yeah, he's killing the DTs. Okay, the only justification I have here is... No. Back to the Trap card. So now, there's a very good, better than even chance that Trap will throw. Thus, kickstarting ByuN's momentum into the rest of the series. Okay, so a real meta play there. From ByuN. Yeah, that is too early. Like, even if he loses that entire army, I think it's still even. Possibly still slightly be unfavored because of the upgrades. I get it, but that felt like a I'm sick of this, like the blink DTs. There might be a part of his mind like, well, in the next patch, those blink DTs will be marginally less good. Yeah, so screw this. Anyways, we play more than one match at a time. Yeah, in the next patch, it will be a 3/4 of a second delay after blinking before... Oh, this is awkward.
Hello there.
Which amounts to about 2/3 of a normal attack. So it's not a huge reduction in DPS, but it isn't blink and eviscerate someone immediately. It's a slight delay, which gives you maybe enough time for things like ghosts to get shots off to kill the DTs. It's less for the DTs sniping bases and workers, and more for the DTs actually blinking on the army. Not that, like, once again, I don't think that was the decisive factor, but it happens to the best, and ByuN is pretty close. Oh! He brought... Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
So ByuN smoothly, well, not so smoothly, transitioned from a proxy Rax into an NGB block, and Trap was having none of it. He preemptively shut that down. Command center on the high ground. Interesting. He's trying to hide it, but the probe's gonna get in, right? Yeah, he's willing to commit the probe to see the gas. Yeah, that's it. That's everything. If he sees the command center, oh no. Oh no no no! Oh. Well, yep. Well, that's not a good start. Game 3 on match point is the worst start for ByuN yet. That is not great. It's not unrecoverable, it's just that Trap now knows. It makes it that much easier. It's just a very, especially after how that last game ended, this is not the start. I think Trap is really playing into that as well. Like, he sent the probe out explicitly to scout for proxies, and he just stuffed it right there. Like, he walked out the door, ready to go to school, and that's when he realized his socks were wet. Okay, they felt okay before, but then he went outside, he stepped in a puddle. But he's already late for school. So you just have to keep walking. And then he goes into school. And then they realizes it was a day off. Oh. But then he had to turn in his homework online. And for some reason, this is the day the Wi-Fi isn't working right. And suddenly, he has to go to, I know, the library. Where there are other people. And it's just all around not a good time. That's where ByuN is right now. Oh, the little trick shade. Give me the trick. Come on. 1 for 1. Let's see it. There it is. Clean. It is quite finicky. There's only like a quarter-second window or so. Here's a pro tip. When the shade bar reaches the last bar of HP, it's a little bit dependent on your monitor resolution, but if you're on a normal person monitor resolution, well, ignore that. When the shade bar reaches the last bar of HP, that's when you want the Widow Mine to lock on. Because that's when the shade will blink away as the Widow Mine fires. It does take practice, and there is a significant chance of failure. Of course, then losing your units to, like, Marines walking out is not ideal. Okay, guys. So this time, ByuN is going for 3 racks into medevacs and mines, which is a strategy. I know it sounds crazy, but there is a chance he will be using Marine medevac mine. Okay, Marauder. Meanwhile, a bit of a change-up from Trap. He's going with the Mass Gateway Charge Lot Prism. More of a door kicker build, where you just come busting in from one side or the other, or maybe both, with charge lots, as opposed to relying on sentries and splash damage. So, this can just win you the game. ByuN gets out of position for a few seconds, you win the game. But, oh my god, ByuN. ByuN picks up. So I like how Trap, he knows who he's playing. Oh, he spots the observer outside his base, and Trap spots him spotting the observer. Or he was just looking to flank the stalkers. I'm not... Okay, wait. It's a disaster. And just like that, every little bit, just like that, the teacher announced, actually, you don't have to turn in that assignment till next week. You don't have to worry about the charge lots in your main or how to deal with them. Instead, you could just attack. A Warp Prism down with 4 Zealots. That is the only thing that was going to keep ByuN at home. Oh my god, Trap. ByuN with the tactical feed on game 2. Trap just throws away a Prism, and will he have enough units to deal with ByuN? +1 combat shield stim. Guardian shield pop. There's not that much energy because Trap didn't go for sentries early. He was going for the heavy gateway style. He only has 3 gases right now. But once again, okay, it's right, like, it's not that far. We could just build it. You don't even have to build an orbital. Is it worth it? Is it? Based on how many Terrans do it, I guess so, but... Is it, though? ByuN picks up and goes to the main. But a conservative 3 medevacs here. ByuN being a little more pragmatic here. Making sure he has some army at home. Building Liberators now to follow up. I'm surprised he's staying on the ground here. Oh, there is an observer. Storm on the way, but Ghosts. Well, Ghost Academy is done. Shockwaves in production. Ghosts and Liberators. The units. The Terran counters. Yes, hard to use. Expensive. Not nearly as fun as Marines, Marauders, and Medevacs, but a necessary evil in most cases against a later game Protoss army. You need those EMPs in general, and the Liberators are the only thing that really helps deal with large amounts of Robobay units. Little does he know. Alright, ByuN picks up. That Zealot was in the scan. Alright. Meanwhile, Charge Lot's running away. The Charge Lots have not found much this game. I want to point out Trap at 63 probes. ByuN, especially after he sniped that Prism, Trap has been deathly afraid of the drops. Oh, slurps up into the medevacs. Meanwhile, Liberator towards the main. Gonna get down. Liberator towards the natural. Here comes the triple prong. The Storm Prism. Oh, that is a very important play. You can't lose this one. Liberator just sieging up, killing probes, drawing attention. EMP across the board on the sentries before Guardian Shield. But the Prism, he gets an EMP. A Storm is good, but the rest of the Templar go down with the ship. Meanwhile, the Liberator is still untouched. He picks up into medevacs, loses a whole lot. Only one medevac of units survives. The Liberator racks up 7 kills. Gonna keep drawing attention. Trap actually has very little economy, but ByuN has very little units. Somehow, we've kind of evened up here. The problem for Trap is his units are some of the worst possible in this scenario, but he has a lot of them. The charge lots are chasing down... Note that Vikings on the ground, a surprisingly good counter to the Stalker Immortal. 15, 17 SCVs in the last minute. This Liberator, the hero of the Terrans. ByuN holds the line. There just isn't the composition for Trap. The Ghost Viking. More than enough to slap down the Immortal Stalker, and the charge lot's just kind of every which way. He sieges up the Liberator, not to besiege the whoever is in the background, but instead to make sure the Liberator doesn't get accidentally pushed into the Stalkers on either side. And if he happens to use Select Army, or Select All Liberators via it. Which is a bit of a clever move. Minimizing potential issues in the future. So at some point, like he's tying 4 Stalkers back here, which is a not insignificant amount of Trap's army at this stage. Especially when it comes to anti-air, which could be better used trying to box out the medevacs. Wow, ByuN is just now building an armory. 11.5 minutes. He's acknowledging this game might need a few more upgrades. But honestly, the unit composition-based play has worked out a lot better than just rushing upgrades. The Ghosts, the Liberators, Vikings, the EMPs, and Warp Prism Snipes have come together. Trap trying something new. He tried to skip the Robo-Base straight to Storm. But unfortunately, the Ghosts are the direct counter to that. And now, Trap is in a much more awkward position. Now, 3 more ghosts. How many ghosts? There's 6 ghosts on the field. 11 medevacs. Yeah, this is an army that can just straight up beat charge lots. Of course, Storm can make a big difference. He actually re-sieges the Liberator. Every bit of attention. Whoa! Okay, what was that? Okay, the Prism was not killed. Very important. Shield battery overcharge used. There's the Prism. There's the Prism. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out! 1 medevac. Well, acceptable losses. It's a... Joining ByuN's army is, you will find glory, but with a high probability of death as well. High risk, high reward is the only way he knows how to play. Heads towards the main where, guess what? No Stalkers. They've been dragged around. Surprising lack of Stalkers here. There is a recall as well, maybe a bit unnecessary. Recall is Templar only. And now the recall is on cooldown. That's actually a big deal. A bit unnecessary. He already had the Stalkers in position to deal with it. And now ByuN knows that Trap can't reposition easily. That actually increases the likelihood of picking up into the medevacs and going to the main. Where is that army, though? The Storm Prism, the Vikings, EMP gets the Prism, 1 Storm, that's it, more EMPs. Immortals, not gonna cut it. Barrier triggered by the EMP, a couple Colossi stutter stepping forward. But is that enough to actually deal with this? 2-2's not done, it's about even upgrades, stutter stepping back, more EMPs, no shields for anyone, only combat shield for the Terran, and that's gonna be enough to continue forward. ByuN has more than enough on the field to fight anything blinking forward. He doesn't want to go straight into the thermal lances. So ByuN takes a winning fight. Whatever happened to those medevacs, somehow 3 Marauders and a Ghost in whatever's left of this medevac escaped the main. Weren't there 3 medevacs? Well, this is just pretty much the StarCraft Ghost trailer. Meanwhile, +2, +2. +2 attack is finished for Trap. So those Colossi, a real threat to Marines and Ghosts to an extent. Oh my god.
What a save!
Well, he does lose the Ghost. So not the best possible outcome. Trap is holding on. But look at the supply. The army supply for ByuN. He's maxed. He's got 2-2 finishing. Now is the time. Meanwhile, one Colossus. This is most of the army. There is a single Widow Mine. Anything to draw attention. Trap caught out of position. EMP's land. Hit a Templar. There are more well spread out. He's no longer relying on the Warp Prism, which has not served him particularly well. Disruptors joining the field. Widow Mine dealt with. There's a factory over here, by the way. Just throwing that one out there. EMP from the grave. Hits the Templar. Another leading the charge. Doesn't quite nail the Templar. Disruptors on the field should inspire some Liberators when ByuN has enough supply. Disruptor shots. Dodges away. Oh, nice split at the last second. More shots not coming out. One at the back line. Splits. Target fire's good. Storm's looking for more. Colossi retreating to whatever they have left. And what they have left is nothing right now. That is a vulnerable pylon. He cancels the Warpin. He cancels the Colossi. And he cancels Traps 3-0. ByuN's gonna take this one home. The Ghosts and the Vikings enough with, of course, strong bio support. But at this point, he's too much to fail. 15 probes went along with the Nexus. Trap not gonna pull a ByuN on this one, but there is not the economy left. ByuN just, at this point, he could just make Marines. Yeah, Trap gonna tap it out. ByuN puts one on the board. Trap tried something different. I mean, he won 2 games. Even though I would argue game 2, he didn't really win so much as ByuN actively decided to lose, but the quicker robo-based style was really helping him out. But guess what? He switched it up, and ByuN, well, he played into ByuN's strength, which is just heavy micro. When you go mass gateway, you're no longer looking for one big fight. You are looking for, I mean, if you can get it, you take one big fight. It's more like charge lock counterattacks, trying to land storms, essentially just bludgeoning the Terran. Whereas with the splash damage compositions, essentially you're powering up with splash damage. You eventually reach this composition that is very difficult to dismantle. Especially if the Terran doesn't already have things like Ghosts and Vikings. But Stalkers and charge slots, like, come on. Offering ByuN an appetizer there. Losing that first prism was very double plus ungood. That is, it's almost as bad as losing your mothership core back in the day. Be like, why don't we have the mothership core? Because a unit that could die to 5 Marines was pretty much the entirety of Protoss's ability to defend and attack, which is, you know, a little, maybe, not ideal. Now, we just slap everything on the Nexus, which is marginally better. The dance. Oh, whoa. Oh, how the turntables have turned. Trap. Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I think I'm beginning to think at this point. Oh, get wrecked, nerd. Trap. Dude, I gave you game, like, you should have won game 2. You left. Don't you know that? You weren't lost. Those Colossi were already dead. Well, I left on purpose, didn't you know? Yeah, alright. Well, that's bullshit. No. Yeah. Pretty rough trash talk between these players. That's a rough translation. And by rough translation, I mean, of course, I made it up. Ah, yes. Even the spectators getting involved. Like, no, you did win that game, though, ByuN. Meanwhile, the Adept. Etiquette not being observed here. Dude, you had 4 seconds. The Adept. Whoa. Okay, everybody watch closely. This time, ByuN is going to make 3 racks, get Stim, and go Marine Marauder. All right, take notes. Meanwhile, Trap is going to go Oracle Adept in a dramatic turn. This is the starting flavor of builds. We did see this in the first couple games. We're back to the baseline here. Oh, I see. Will there be enough Marines? This is such an obvious Oracle. Oh, he had enough Marines to deal with an Oracle in the main, but he brings more down. ByuN is fully willing to trade his bio army. It is an uncomfortably regular thing for him to trade out Marines and Marauders for literally whatever he can get. But once again, ByuN is going to, by sheer mass and size of army, force Trap to play somewhat defensive. But he doesn't actually... It's a delicate dance, because if you don't go far enough, then Trap can get greedy and he'll have too much when you eventually move out. But if you don't move out at all, or, well, if you move too far, actually, he may just kill all your units. Like, if he has enough on the field. So, you kind of just gotta... It's a trap! Trap! Which is very different than the trap in game 2. I mean, I'm not 100% sure that was intentional, but the Marines were there to deal with oracles anyways, so. Burns the reactor, floats the factory for a sec, which gets some quick reps in, you know. Trap actually slips a little on the Oracle mic. Does that turret work? Oh, that's actually perfect turret placement. Take notes, Terrans. Because the mineral patches are always the same. Not all maps have exactly this sort of split. It doesn't really delay mining at all, and it covers everything. That exact spot. Trying to burn the reactor again. Is that going to work? He lifts the factory. I mean, he was going to lift the factory anyways, but... He was going to lift the factory anyways, but that would also give more surface area to repair the attached reactor, which is one of the bigger brain potential plays here. Trap might have to recall these oracles. I feel like they're starting to... They're not gaining any value by sitting in the back corner of the base. Let's put it that way. He's going to try to come in again. Might be able to burn the reactor. The starport reactor is obviously quite valuable. Are you going to run out of energy? There's a turret. He gets it. All right. Pretty big deal. But at least the first 2 medevacs will come out relatively quick. Now he has to... No, the factory built another reactor as we play... as we leapfrog. Whose reactor is it anyways? And he built a turret right in the middle of everything because he's sick of dealing with this. Blink on the way. Plenty of shield batteries here, but the sheer army count for ByuN is the threat. There is no charge. Blink should be done momentarily. The Oracle's trying to make their way back. Oh, Trap, no! That was bad positioning there. Even for a split second, he's tearing through everything! Ah, the Stim! Just rips through the forge. The Stalkers It was a incredibly tenuous defense in the other games. It's literally has to be pixel perfect placement and positioning. Otherwise, the Marines just rip everything to shreds. 19 probes. Even if this entire army dies, it doesn't matter. ByuN has taken a huge lead. He got the +1. He got all the expensive units. Oh my, he's now going to blink micro against Stalkers and win. And he has a 3rd command center. No. Momentum and economy and tech are all heavily in favor of ByuN. Now, all the sentries died. The sentries were the only kind of equalizer for Trap. Now he has to fight with Blink Stalkers against someone who has 4 medevacs. And he's very willing to build Marauders. His Marauder to everything else ratio may be the highest in the world. ByuN loves Marauders. In fact, he's tried some like Marauder first openers against Protoss. I think he's kind of put those on the back burner for a while, but like this year, not in Wings of Liberty. So, I guess when behind Dark Shrine, he gets a medevac and he triggers a mine and gets out. Stalkers 1-1 against 0-0. Like, now he just has the same units, but worse. Charge isn't even done. He built the forge in the same spot, which should have been very defensible, but he just got slightly out of position. Kind of, ByuN wants it again. Okay, charge is done, but he has to rely on just the sheer unit count. Brings back a couple zealots. Ooh, splits away from the mine. No armory for ByuN because obviously it's ByuN. Trap holds on, but there is a Ghost Academy with enhanced shockwaves. There are Liberators on the way. But if ByuN is any indication, those Liberators are for just keeping Trap busy while the Bio army tries to make headway. Shadow Stride, gonna try for a repeat on the DTs. Oh my. Does he see him? There's no way ByuN doesn't see that. Oh my. Well, this game just got... Oh no, Trap! He just attacks the reinforcements! What are you doing? He had it on like a shift right click to 8 click. Oh, he gave it away! Oh, suddenly, not again. The sentry's slightly out of position. The Widow Mines will burrow. That's way too much Terran. There's nothing to stop this. Once again, Trap opts to shy away from the Robo-Bay. And once again, ByuN rips him to shreds for it. I don't like Trap just... and Shadow Stride. Oh my.
Denied.
Not that Blink DTs were going to change everything. Oh no. Disastrous. I mean, it's Trap. Trap is pretty well known for taking a solid series where he looks like he's in a confident position and then flipping the script. Like, ByuN has done the same build in essence, not in practice, but effectively the same style 4 games in a row. He lost 2, he won 2. Trap won 2 games and decided to take a detour down Twilight Lane as opposed to sticking with the Brobo Bay. And now here we are. Jimmy! Into the game! Yes! One, unless it's a draw. At this point, I think instead of a hypothetical, there is a non-zero chance that ByuN GG'd out of that winning game. With the thought of Trap's shaky mentality in mind. Now, I mostly think he was just tilted. But I choose to believe a non-zero percentage is like, of all the people to do it against, well...
It's about time.
Trap scouring for barracks. No barracks to be found. It could go either way now. I have no idea what to expect. Does Trap bring it back? Does ByuN? ByuN goes reactor first. No Reaper, not even a Marine. Just reactor first, which you can get away with as long as they don't build a Zealot, and Trap is not someone who just builds a Zealot. You would have had to start building the Zealot, like, as the gateway finished, for it to matter. So this is just, I want Marines. And I want them as soon as possible. Which, you know, ByuN, as a typical... The reason... I'm dumb. You see, right when I was confident, I was going to go into a whole, like, tirade about Marines and doing the same build over and over and just sticking with your guns, literally and figuratively. I had that all ready to go. And right here in Game 5, right when I was lulled into that false sense of... I mean, it's still a 3-Rex, but the double Reaper. No, it's not going to be... He's slipping the Reapers out. This hits... Usually the Adept comes in the quickest it comes in, unless, like, it's a proxy, is around 3 minutes. I guess Trap's a little faster. Oh, Stalker. A little faster. Most of my games, it's 3 minutes, so obviously worse. He's going to be suspicious. This is not the first time I've seen the kind of delayed Reaper opener. ByuN, the man who got Reaper's nerf, not once, but twice. Coming in with the slider here. Slips up into the main. Oh, the probes almost combined. Does he even care about the Stalker? No, the micro. Gets another probe. He's looking at only 3. Okay, so that was... It could have been 5. I think 5 would have been a win. 4 would have been okay. 3 is... He got the scout, but 3 probes... That is my commentary. But guess what? It's going to be 3 Rex with Marines. Actually, so far, just Marines. He scouted the Twilight first, which actually surprises me, not building any Marauders. I guess the gas is pretty tight. It's 2 Reapers. We tried it. All right. 1 for each nerf. It's just... He's just building a bunch of Marines. Like, oh, ByuN. Can I go back into my... No, it doesn't have the same effect now that he did anything different. Trap adds on... How many gates? He's going to 4 on 2 base. He's hard walling and building a warp prism. So he's looking to meet this head on. And if okay, let me try that sentence again. If there are not any Marauders, the Marines are going to have a terrible, terrible time. If there are Marauders, it's only going to be terrible. Because enough Blink Stalkers before Medivacs means you can't really stim, but also you can't not stim. Either way, you're going to lose Marines to Stalkers. So... If ByuN doesn't realize that this is, instead of being like a 2 or 3 gate third base, if he doesn't realize this is an all-in, he could just outright lose. That is, Trap is now pulling the trigger on effectively an all-in. It's not a huge commitment, but it needs to do something because otherwise his unit composition will eventually lose to Marine Marauder. Once again, the reactor going to be target ByuN. Smells suspicion. Or, yes. No, anyways, there's a Warp Prism in the main, so, and Blink is done, so what are we doing? He saw the Prism. The Prism gives it away. I mean, he saw the Twilight, he saw the Prism. A bunker dies. Medevac. Only one Medevac being produced. A bit of a mistake. You can't lose the Prism. You cannot lose the Prism. If he loses the Prism, he can actually drive the Stalkers back. And Trap doesn't have anything to fall back to. Yeah, there's a third Nexus building just now, but he's just got Blink Stalkers. The threat of the Prism is what keeps ByuN at home. At least until the Medevacs are done. Then it becomes a little... ByuN refuses to even consider the idea of building a command center on the low ground. He is he has a religious objection to building command centers on the high ground. Like the fact he built any at any point, like against Blink Stalkers, it feels like maybe I don't know. Well, he is a man of principle. And those principles were set in stone like 10 years ago. Blinks in. Ghetto blinks out. Actually, the Warp Prism blink is more reliable than the actual blink. A single Colossus. ByuN stims it. No fear. No hesitation. A single force field. There's not that many units. The Colossus really ties the whole room together. Shield battery overcharge doesn't last forever, but it just feels like it when you're a Terran. That battery overcharge buys the time for the Colossus to step into position. Handful of Blink Stalkers threatening, but four Stalkers are not... Will he... Oh, the bait! But the counter Blink! Trap gets the better of him. No trap this game. The counter trap. And ByuN picks up into the Medevacs and heads for the main. That was a great reaction time. There's no way he saw the mines beforehand, but he reacted immediately. Could have been in his mind, but there's no way he saw him before. Oh, the drop. Recall immediately. The reaction time on Trap is so good. Somehow, he managed to drop in such a way... bureaucracy. He managed to drop in a way that the Marauder got locked out. Which is very unfortunate for that Marauder. Doesn't lose any medevacs on the way out. ByuN has significantly higher army supply, but Trap is back to the Brobo Bay. He's now going to be relying on those Colossi, a much more reliable unit than he's been using the last couple games. ByuN has shown a struggle against these tall boys here. Uh-oh, though. The Robo itself! Unfortunately taken out. Hold position to deal with the Widowmine. The drop heading for the main. There are the Stalkers out of position. No recall right now. Shield battery overcharge irrelevant at this point. That drop is incredibly dangerous. A very tenuous position for Trap with minimal army supply. Ooh. Deals with the Widowmines, but the drop is starting to do real damage. He has to blink against the units because it's still too much to deal with directly. 2 robos being produced. That was his only robo at the time. Charge lots. Looking for work. Another attack. The medevac gets out at the last second. Oh, what a game. Both players on top of it right now. It looks like we're back to top tier form. Trap no longer flirting with just the Twilight Council. Instead, wants some stability in his life. And ByuN, not stuck in the in just the M&Ms, but instead adding in Ghosts and Vikings as he saturates his third. Something to point out. Trap only has 58 probes. He lost a significant number with the drop, and he hasn't been building them because he's been so focused on building the right unit composition. Meanwhile, ByuN does not have an armory, so upgrades are... He's scanning for observers. Observers, well, the Zealots are the observers. And also the observers. But mostly the Zealots. Because you don't have much time to do that. The factory asked to see some ID from the Warp Prism. The Warp Prism refuses to respond. Does fly the other direction, though. This is quite a choke point. Meeting mid-map. Not the fight ByuN necessarily wants, but the Vikings could find a good opportunity as the Stalker's terrestrially bound. Vikings still... There's not enough disruptors to go flinging shots out, just hoping to hit something. A drop. Oh, gun down. I think the cannon got it. Spots the Dark Shrine. A scan means ByuN picks up. You guys fill in the rest. Trap looking to box out at the third. The Zealot Observer. A scan to the main. The Stalkers are under threat. The Colossi can actually just tiptoe their way in. He's shift blinking, but the Colossi, he's gonna try to dive on them. A bold move. The Stalkers mowed down as a consolation prize. A few more chased out, somehow still alive. The fourth command center will land, but a Zealot will start beating on it. EMP on shield battery overcharge. I don't think it really works, but looking for the Nexus. The Disruptors able to target one. Shot targeted immediately. The 4 medevacs. Looking for more opportunities. Not going to find it quite yet. The best game so far. Well, the problem here for ByuN is he still doesn't have an armory. Trap is slowly, very slowly, with 61 probes getting upgrades. He's slowly filling in the tech. It doesn't get easier for ByuN. He's at 200 supply. He's at 1-1. It doesn't get better from here. He needs to pick a fight as soon as possible. The scan, he spots the army, just goes for it. The EMP hits the Disruptors, but they're still a threat. Fires off 2 shots, looking for some. Only finds Zealots. Good micro from ByuN. Another drop heading in towards the third. Trap in a tenuous position. He has to be careful. Right now, ByuN is at his strength, his peak. He has peaked, and Trap knows. So, Trap blinks out of his main. ByuN picks up into medevac, somehow survives, and goes into the main. He staggers the blink somehow. There's no energy in the main. He EMPs the shield battery. Another army heads in towards the fourth. The Marines and Marauders very close to rehab, but also very close to the Robobay units. Trap has to fire a Disruptor off to the side. It was too far away. He's tearing them apart right now. The medevac's being cleaned up in the main. A Disruptor landing a surprising hit on Vikings. Trap, though, losing his fourth and unable to keep control of the fight. If they have 1 HP, they still have 100% DPS. Meanwhile, DT's in the main, 31 probes. Oh, he lands a hit, but 2 medevacs of units. Vikings are walking across the map, and they walk what? Moving on. DT's cleaned up in the main, and Trap has plummeted in supply, but the medevac's targeted. He gets both. The army supplies are dead even. EMP lands. Blink Stalkers. +2 is done, but that's it. Fires a shot. ByuN. Oh, he blinks himself. Another shot. Oh, he gets the target. And another one. 3 for 3. ByuN takes 3 in a row. Turns it all around. 3-2. Oh, ByuN makes it about as dramatic as you possibly could. Oh, God, the blood pressure. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. But without an armory, 200 supply of mostly Marine Marauder with a few Ghosts and Vikings sprinkled in for flavor. ByuN takes it all the way back. Even from that questionable game 2, it pays off. ByuN playing like ByuN. Well, if you had fun, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell. Thank you to Team Alpha X and Into the Clan for putting on these matches. Always showing these amazing players, beating the crap out of each other so we don't have to play ourselves. If that's not enough to inspire you to watch some more, I don't know what is. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.